Remember 1985? Back then, life felt simpler. A single paycheck could buy a home, support a family, and still leave room for a vacation. A modest house cost around $80,000, about $230,000 in today's dollars. It wasn't just a dream. A lawn, a quiet street, and a roof you owned. Mortgages didn't feel like a lifetime sentence. A brand new car? Household income was about $21,000 early in the decade, climbing to $32,000 by the end. That money stretched far. It paid the bills, filled the fridge, covered car notes, and still left room for savings or a road trip. Minimum wage? $3.10 in 1980, $3.80 by 1990. Enough for teens to afford gas, movies, even a record or two. It wasn't glamorous, but it gave kids freedom and helped families make ends meet. Gas hovered around $1.20 in 1980, dipping under 90 cents by 86. That's like $3 to $4 today. $10 could fill the tank and last the whole week. People worried less, drove more, and road trips felt doable again. Interest rates on mortgages were brutal, over 12% at times. But even then, people lined up at the bank, paperwork in hand, ready to fight for their piece of the American dream. College tuition? Public schools cost about $1,000 to $1,500 a year. That's $4,000 in today's money. A summer job could cover it. Loans existed, but they didn't drown you. Farmland averaged $737 an acre. Today, it's well over $5,000, double or triple that in some states. Family farms were everywhere. Even if the debt was heavy, the land held value. It meant something. Property taxes? Around $700 a year. That's $2,700 now. Folks paid it, sure, but it didn't feel like rent. These days, some people pay $8,000, even $12,000 a year. Back then, when you said you owned your home, you meant it. A full week-long family vacation? $1,000 total. That's $3,500 now. Load up the car, hit the road to Florida, the Grand Canyon, Yellowstone. You didn't need airfare, resorts, or maxed-out credit cards. Doctor visits cost $25 or $30 without insurance. Pay in cash, walk out smiling. Healthcare was simpler. It didn't terrify you. Bread cost 50 cents. Milk, about $1.80 a gallon. Prices stayed steady, predictable. Ground beef, under $2 a pound. Moms could stretch it for multiple meals. Eggs, less than $1 for a dozen, filling cheap, always in the fridge. And if you stopped by McDonald's, a burger was 50 cents, fries 35, Coke 30. $2 could feed you. A family night out? Totally doable. It wasn't a perfect world, but it worked. Life made sense. You earned, you spent, and somehow it was enough. Today, that same fast food meal can run over $10. Back then, it was truly fast and cheap. Concerts? You could see legends Springsteen, Madonna, Prince for just $15 or $20. That's around $50, $65 today. Compare that to now. Those same seats cost hundreds, even thousands. Movie tickets were $2.50 in 1980, about $4 by decade's end. A whole family could catch a film, grab popcorn and sodas, and still have change left. Now, one ticket can hit $20. Cigarettes were under $1 in 1980. By the late 80s, they'd crept up, but still cheap. Today, $8 to $12 a pack, plus heavy taxes. A VHS player in 1982 cost nearly $1,000. By '89, under $200. Suddenly, everyone had one, and Friday night meant Blockbuster, popcorn, and a stack of movies. Renting a tape? Just $2 or $3. Families wandered the aisles. Kids tugging at sleeves for cartoons, parents eyeing thrillers. Home entertainment, warm and affordable. A Sony Walkman? About $100. Teens saved for weeks to get one. Music became portable and personal. Levi's jeans? Around $20. Strong, long-lasting, passed down between siblings. Compare that to today's $200 designer jeans that barely last a year. Nike Air Jordans dropped in 1985 at $65. It was a shock back then. Today, $65 means cheap re-releases go for $200 or more. Minivans entered the scene in the mid-'80s, around $9,000 new. Sliding doors, roomy seats, perfect for road trips and school runs. A true middle-class icon. A home computer? In '81, an IBM cost $1,565. Apple's Mac in '84 was even more. Thousands paid for a glimpse into the future. Long-distance phone calls? Costly. 20 cents a minute or more. Kids got a quick hi and bye before Mom took over. Magazines like Time or Life sold for $1.50, $2, stacked on coffee tables. Flipped during quiet Sunday afternoons. Now, mostly gone or online. Airfare wasn't cheap. $200. $300 round trip today's $700. $1,000. Flying felt special. People dressed up. You didn't hop on a plane casually. Pizza? A large from Domino's or Pizza Hut cost about $8.25 in today's money. Friday night delivery was a treat, not a financial decision. Beer? $3 to $4 a six-pack. Classic backyard barbecue fuel. Today's craft brews cost triple and don't always taste better. Coca-Cola from a vending machine? 40 cents. You'd hear the clunk, grab your bottle, and smile. Simple pleasure? A color TV? $300, $500. A big investment. But it was the living room centerpiece. By decades, end remote controls and bigger screens made upgrades tempting. Microwaves? $200, $300. A miracle at the time. Popcorn in 2 minutes? Unbelievable. By the late '80s, almost every home had one. Furnishing a living room? Under $1,000, $3,200 today. Sofas, chairs, tables. All built to last. Dental cleaning? $25 to $30. Even fillings were rarely more than $50. Cash, in and out, no fear of bankruptcy. Disneyland admission? $11 in 1980, $25 by 1989. Today? $130, $160 per person. Magic now comes at a much steeper price. A night in a roadside motel? Under $30, $100 in today's dollars. 2 beds, a TV, maybe a pool. Simple, safe, affordable. Polaroid instant cameras? $50, $70? A snapshot in seconds. No filters, no uploads, just memories printed in your hand. The '80s weren't perfect, but they were real. Things cost less, lasted longer, and made life feel just a bit more grounded. Polaroids gave you magic in minutes. The photos weren't perfect, but that soft, faded charm. Iconic. Today, they're back, but mostly as novelty nostalgia. A used car in decent shape? $1,500 to $2,500. About $5,000 to $8,000 today. Teens could save for their first ride, and families grabbed second cars without sinking in debt. Now, even beat-up cars go for $10,000 or more. A window AC unit cost around $250, roughly $800 today. For homes without central air, that humming box saved summer. Whole families crowded into the cold room just to sleep. In the '80s, one steady paycheck could cover everything: mortgage, car, groceries, savings, and vacation. Today, that same check barely stretches to rent. Rent? A two-bedroom went for about $350 a month or $1,200 today. Landlords knew your name. Paperwork was one page. Now, even tiny apartments can break the bank. Lumber was cheap. A 2x4? $1.25. Concrete bags? Under $3. Families built decks, sheds, garages, no second thoughts. Now, one price hike can stall the whole project. Health insurance was standard with most jobs. A family plan cost about $1,100, a year about $4,000 today. A hospital stay? $400 a day. Manageable. Unlike today's $20,000 plus premiums and crushing bills. Student housing? $150 to $200 a month, split with roommates. That meant rent, books, food covered by part-time jobs. Now, campus housing often starts at $1,500 per month, per person. A brand new fridge in the mid-'80s cost $600 to $800, or $1,800 to $2,400 today. They lasted 15 to 20 years. Today's models? Double the price and half the lifespan. Electric bills average $60, $70 a month, equal to $200, $240 now. Heating added $50. Bills were steady. Predictable? Today, winter power bills can crush families. Bowling cost $1.50 a game, shoes 50 cents. Under $10 for a whole family night. Now, $50 or more, if you're lucky. Back then, the lanes welcomed everyone. Stamps? 15 cents in 1980. 25 cents by '89. That's like 40 to 55 cents now. Everyone mailed letters, paid bills by hand, and waited for birthday cards. Daycare was around $250 a month per child, or $850 today. Expensive, sure, but doable. Now, it's $1,500 to $2,000 per child. Childcare is no longer a budget line, it's a crisis. Blockbuster opened in 1985. By decade's end, 1,000 stores. Friday night, a family ritual. Wandering aisles, grabbing VHS tapes, praying someone rewound. Milk duds, popcorn, memories. Vacations? Load up the station wagon. Disney, Daytona, or just a motel with a pool. You played road trip bingo, fought over maps, and watched for palm trees. That was luxury. Saturday mornings. Cereal and cartoons. From 7 to noon, no breaks. G.I. Joe, Thundercats, commercials for toys you had to have. Quiet, magical, untouchable hours. We recorded songs off the radio finger on pause, waiting for the DJ to shut up. If you timed it right, you were a genius. If not, Casey Kasem ruined your mix. Again. In 1983, McDonald's launched the Chicken McNugget, and nothing was ever the same. Crispy, dippable, addictive. Kids begged. Parents snuck one. No one could eat just one. Arcades were buzzing temples of fun. Quarters in your pocket, Pac-Man on screen, joystick in hand. High score? Bragging rights. Lose it? Stay until you won it back. Homes cost $80,000 and gave you room to live. 3 bedrooms, real wood cabinets, shag carpet, and a backyard made for slip-and-slides. You didn't want luxury, you wanted privacy. The second bathroom? Pure gold. The Sears Wish book was Christmas in a catalog. You circled everything, folded corners, and left it accidentally in the kitchen. Half the fun was flipping through again and again. In 1986, gas dipped below $1. Signs read 89 cents. Windshields got washed, drivers cheered, and road trips felt golden. Every family had a photo wall. School pics, glamour shots, awkward perms framed in wood. Stand still too long, and someone might hang a frame around you. We drank from garden hoses. No filters, no warnings. just cold, metallic backyard water. We passed it around and lived to tell the tale. The clapper turned lights into magic. Clap once off, clap twice on, until your dog sneezed at 2 a.m. and lit up the house. Average salary? Around $17,000. And it was enough. One car, a mortgage, groceries, and still enough for Friday movie night. Fun didn't cost a fortune. In 1981, MTV launched with Ladies and Gentlemen Rock and Roll. Music videos exploded. Bands had to look cool now, not just sound cool. Fast food came wrapped in foil, fries in paper bags, shakes so thick they bent your straw. You always grabbed extra ketchup. In 1985, Coca-Cola launched new Coke. People hated it. Letters, protests, chaos. 3 months later, Boom Coke Classic returned. A marketing fail turned legend. We passed notes in school, folded like origami, marked read now. If the teacher caught you, trash can, or worse, read out loud. Goodbye, dignity. Then came 1985. The NES arrived. Mario, Duck Hunt, Zelda Heroes in plastic cartridges. Blow on the game. Slam it in. It worked. You vanished for hours. Trapper Keepers were royalty. Bright colors, Velcro flap, matching folders. If yours had unicorns or race cars, heads turned when it opened like a briefcase full of secrets. Blank VHS tapes lined your shelves, labeled in marker, stacked by the VCR. And if someone taped over your movie night, that was war. Car interiors smelled like vinyl and crayons. You rolled windows down by hand, stuck to the seats, and burned your leg on the seatbelt. No airbags, no cup holders. Just Dad saying, "We're not stopping." In 1986, the Challenger disaster shook the country. School kids watched live. Teacher Krista McAuliffe was aboard. It was meant to inspire. Instead, it broke hearts. IBM's first PC in '81 looked like a spaceship. Businesses jumped on it. Tech guys called it revolutionary. They were right, but it still couldn't beat Game Boy Tetris. In 1984, Apple's Super Bowl ad aired once and changed everything. A woman hurls a hammer at Big Brother. The world had never seen a computer ad like it. Popcorn ceilings were everywhere. You'd lie on the floor and stare at them, counting shapes or flicking Nerf darts to see if they stuck. They usually did. You didn't stream shows. You waited all week. Thursday night, Cosby, Cheers, Family Ties. Missed it? Tough luck. You prayed for reruns. In 1982, E.T. phoned home and broke every box office record. You cried. Your dad cried. Reese's Pieces beat M and Ms. BMX bikes became legendary. A $60 grocery run fed the family. Milk, $2. Bread, under $1. Ground beef, just over $1. Food was food, not a luxury. In 1987, The Simpsons debuted as Weird Shorts. Art was already a troublemaker. Nobody guessed they'd become TV legends. Top Gun hit in '86. Suddenly, everyone wanted shades, a bomber jacket, and a wingman. That soundtrack lived rent-free in our heads for years. In 1989, the Berlin Wall fell. Even American kids felt it. The Cold War cracked, and Reagan's words, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall," suddenly felt real. The Ford Escort ruled the road. Boxy, mustard yellow, reliable. If it was your first car, you were set. Microsoft Word launched in '83. Typing, saving, editing, no more whiteout. And if you had a printer, you were elite. Road trips meant fold-out maps as big as the dashboard. You fought over exits, stuffed the glove box with old ones, and getting lost was part of the adventure. Raiders of the Lost Ark made archaeology cool. Indiana Jones hat, whip, snakes turned kids into explorers overnight. Tetris came from the USSR, but once it hit Game Boy, we were hooked. The blocks fell, your heart raced, and that theme music still stuck in your head. We didn't text. We used address books, wall calendars, and answering machines that beeped like microwaves. And somehow, life worked just fine. Shopping malls were teenage kingdoms. You went to be seen. Walkman on your belt, Orange Julius in hand, and laughs at Spencer's gifts. Film developing wasn't instant. You dropped off a roll, waited days, and hoped they weren't all blurry. That glossy envelope? Pure treasure. Cash was king. Velcro wallets ripped open like thunder. Coins, bills, even checks. You felt rich just hearing that sound. Every home had a giant wood-paneled TV, heavy as a fridge. Rabbit ears wrapped in foil. Sometimes you had to slap it to fix the picture. Band T-shirts were identity. You ironed them flat, wore them thin, and never threw them out. AC/DC, Van Halen, Journey, whatever was on your chest, that was your tribe. Microwaves changed everything. Zap a burrito, reheat coffee, or dinner in minutes. No more waiting on the oven. Just ding. Reagan was everywhere. Love him or not, his voice, hair, and jelly beans shaped the 80s. His speeches? Half politics, half movie script. Cabbage Patch Kids caused store riots. Each had a name, a chubby face, and a birth certificate. If you got one, you were a hero parent. School lunch meant rectangle pizza, lukewarm milk, and a fruit cup. It wasn't gourmet, but it was the highlight of the day. Kool-Aid came from a Tupperware pitcher. Sugar? Poured by feel. One sip, your mouth turned purple, the walls got sticky, and it was summer in a cup. Gas station maps were free. No GPS. Just creased paper and local advice. Wrong turn? That's how memories happened. Roller rinks were packed. Disco lights, fog machines, and slow songs that meant you were basically dating. Bonus points if you didn't fall. Boom boxes were loud, proud, and carried like trophies. Batteries died fast, but street cred lasted forever. In 1982, Time magazine's Man of the Year wasn't a man, it was the computer. That's how big tech had gotten. And nobody even knew how to use it yet. Velcro shoes changed everything. No more bunny ears or double knots. Just strap, snap, and you were off. You felt fast, even if you still tripped. Laserdiscs looked like the future giant, shiny, and better than VHS. But they were pricey and didn't fit on shelves. If your friend had one, their dad worked in tech. In 1980, Post-it notes arrived. Bright yellow reminders stuck to fridges, mirrors, and your lunchbox. Parents could say, "Clean your room," without ever speaking. TV commercials weren't annoying. They were part of the fun. Jingles stuck, mascots were celebrities, and cartoon ads had us begging for cereal. No skipping, no fast forward unless you taped it. Flying in the 80s felt special. Real meals, legroom, free luggage, even wings from the pilot. Kids got excited. Adults didn't dread airports. Home perms were everywhere. Big, fluffy, and chemical-scented. Bangs stood up like antennas, thanks to Aquanet. Even dads weren't safe. Jelly shoes hit like glitter bombs. Translucent, squeaky, sweaty. But if your toes sparkled, you ruled the playground. CNN launched in 1980. News all day, every day. Suddenly, the world never went quiet, and neither did our worries. Tupperware filled every kitchen. Bright oranges, greens, yellows. Lids never matched. Drawers overflowed. And someone in your house definitely hosted a party. The Pepsi challenge lived on in the 80s. Taste tests at malls and fairs. Pick Pepsi, win a button. Free soda and bragging rights. Calculators were chunky bricks with rubber buttons. Solar-powered? You were basically an engineer. But you still typed 58,008 and flipped it upside down. Socks over pants. Neon leg warmers. Leotards. Thanks to Jane Fonda, working out looked like an 80s music video. Sweat was stylish. Choose your own adventure books turned reading into a game. One page, hero. Next, eaten by space squids. You always held your thumb on the last choice, just in case. Trivial Pursuit ruled family nights. Everyone played. Everyone argued. And arts and literature humbled the proud. Still, we kept coming back. Answering machines took your calls. Tiny cassettes recorded missed messages. Some folks added jingles. Calling home just to hear your own voice. Normal. In 1980, Rubik's Cube arrived. 6 sides, endless frustration. You twisted, cursed, maybe peeled stickers. Solve it legit? You were a hallway legend. Everyone used payphones. A quarter got you a local call. Every gas station or street corner had a scratched-up metal box with a dangling cord. If you forgot the number, you just hoped they picked up or stood flipping through the phone book chain to the booth. You didn't download games, you rented them. One cartridge at a time from the corner store or Blockbuster. No saves. No tutorials. You had 48 hours to beat the game or cry trying. And if someone else got it first, you waited, patient or not. A Swatch watch didn't just tell time. It told the world who you were. Neon colors, jelly straps sometimes stacked 2 at once. You wore it to the mall, the arcade, even church. And it always smelled like plastic and strawberry lip gloss. Crimped hair was everywhere. Girls heated zigzag irons and burned their fingers. If your hair looked like folded paper fans, you nailed it. Add a scrunchie, side ponytail, and glitter lip gloss. Boom. You were a 80s fashion icon. Class photos were a whole event. Best sweater. Bangs combed just right. You stood on bleachers while a photographer yelled, "Say cheese." Half the class blinked. Someone made bunny ears. Nobody looked at the camera at the same time. Pencils had erasers shaped like ice cream cones or footballs. They didn't erase well, but smelled like bubble gum and made your pencil case feel exciting. Trading erasers at recess felt more important than math. Movie theaters had sticky floors and buttery popcorn. You bought your ticket from a glass booth, picked a seat with no cup holder, and maybe snuck in candy from home. If someone tall sat in front of you, too bad. You leaned sideways the whole film. Polaroids weren't perfect, but they were yours. Click. Then you flopped that little square like casting a spell. A blurry face would fade in. Crooked smile and all. No filters. No second takes. Just one shot and a memory that stuck to the fridge for years. You didn't Google lyrics. You guessed them. Hold me closer, Tony Danza. And no one corrected you until much later. Even then, you still weren't sure. Radio DJs never repeated lyrics. Cassette liner notes were folded like origami.